and we're hot. So I finished breaking all the chain. This here is all I have left from that big roll. So yeah, 404-063. So for those people watching later, this is kind of boring. For those people watching during, it's a whole lot more fun. We get to chat, we get to hang out. Hey, Marshall. Junkyard. Nice post, by the way. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, I got to work tomorrow, though. So, oh well. Looks like they gave me quite a few straps here. Okay. Hey, Craig. See, I haven't seen you in a bit. Hey, Stanley. 12 straight on duty. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Craig, we haven't seen you in a bit. Hope everything's okay. Everything okay? James is here. Good. I just made up all this chain. Or rather, I broke it. It's ready for... so, actually... Oh, good. William's here. Maybe he can give me a heads up on how to do this. So, I've got the chain going here. And I need to spin it, basically. Ball peen hammer. I'm not quite as advanced as you. So, I know, make sure there's no loop in it first, right? Preset, the notch goes down. Good, like that. I know that. There's certain things I know and certain things I don't know. This is a Oregon spinner. This is a nothing crazy. It's not like the super fancy one, although I don't know if a super fancy spinner exists. And this is the A anvil and the A what do you want to call it? And these look low. What we're doing. Yeah, so supposedly you just kind of take it and go, but you go real slow. Supposedly. What do you guys think? Steve, I tore the 300 XP down and rechecked everything. Okay. And how? And anything you found, Marshall? Try to get the camera here, like out of the way. Get a little bit of pressure. And I don't really know how fast to go, but I've done this once or twice before. Could have kept it running if the choke. Kept moving the choke. Okay. Because look, this goes back, right? Not that. That certainly peened over. And it definitely I think I can go a little bit further though. Yeah, it's not tight. That'll hold. Okay, good. Again, loose. What do you guys think? Focus. They look different than the others, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Yeah. Loop for 42-inch chain. There you go. Hey, Efren. D. Hamby. What file do I use? To be honest, I don't know. It might still be 730 seconds. So I am cheating compared to you, William. Okay. Vent is good. Watch Matt's video and checking. Yeah, so Marshall, it's probably not the vent. Okay, is it a brand new carburetor? And do you have a brand new ignition coil? Telling the difference between those is really hard for me. So it's amazing what a brand new carburetor will do when you throw a brand new carburetor at something. You know who told me that? That was Bob, Spike 60. You know what? He was right. He even came with boxes. Mike Lowry, how you doing? Can you buy a roll of chain that fit any type of chainsaw? Don't know exactly. What do you mean by that? You can buy lots of different rolls of chain. And I am apparently not super adept at getting chain into a box. This is 122 inches of chain, so I don't know if that's going to go in there so good. Probably not. But there's one. Would that change that you have Yeah, I'm not understanding the question. Yeah, William, you have it. That's better. That's a better way to put it. Type of saw has nothing to do with it, or not very much to do with it. Really, it's all about the bar. So what kind of bar and sprocket. So can you run 404 on a 460? Probably. But you need a 404 rim sprocket. Yeah, there we go. Hey, lost one. It's the same stuff. This is the Raisman chain, but just to show you guys, in case anybody's curious, I've got some spinning to do. So I broke them down to 122 drive link pieces, and because I don't typically run 404, I don't have a particular need to run 404. You could just buy a roll and measure the bar. Yeah, but you have to buy the right roll. So this is 404 and 063. So 404 is actually it has to do with the distance between the the distance between the rivets, and it's like times 3 divided by 2 or something like that, and you come up with the distance between 404. 3/8 is slightly tighter. 325 is tighter, and 1/4 inch is really tight. But 404 is typically known as logger chain, so it is heavy stuff. Your 460 probably run 3/8 chain. So you need count 3 rivets, measure, divide by 2. Yeah, that something like that. So anywho, so this is 404. Your 460 would probably be 3/8. So you need 3/8 chain. Be a more typical chain to run on that. And you have 3/8 chain, and then what? You have to measure the width of your drive link. So hang on, right here, the fin sticking down. Measure the width of that. And it should say on the bar, this happens to be 063. And you know what? In a second, I'll measure it for you. Putting this together right now, so. Make sure there's no loop in the chain. Things aren't backwards. Unscrew this. And start turning. And this just pins the rivet over, basically. Make sure it's not too tight. Not tight, it moves. Next one. Bring her in. Nice.
We can only see your elbow. It's kind of in the way.
Oh, my elbow's not in the way anymore. My daughter just came down to report that you can only see my elbow in the video. That's a serious chain. Man, I hope this is like the right drive link. If you tear the apron off. Half nuts got in the mail today. Spinning. Yeah, I've got only, I have a dozen of these to do, which really is not going to take that long. So, not too terribly worried about it. Where'd you pick up the tool that you're using to repair the chains? This is an Oregon spinner. I don't remember where I got it. It might have been eBay, but I think you can get them on HL Supply. Pretty sure you can. For 3 kids, half nuts are all I got. 22 people watching me spin chain. Unbelievable. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just letting you guys know. This is some of the first chain that I've spun. I really have not done very much of this. The rivets look pretty good. They do crack a little around the edges if you look at them real close. But so far, this seems to be working just fine. So, again, 063 is the width of the fin here on the drive link. So, most of the chain that I run is 050, not 063. But, whatever. Last one, thanks for showing up. We do appreciate you hanging out. For those people that are new to this stream, this is pretty much what we do here. It's kind of like watching some guy work in his own garage, you know? Do random stuff. And what I do isn't super random, it's mostly saws. But if you like hanging out, talking to people, meeting new people, and coming with me on a bit of a journey here, because that's what this is. I'm learning. I'm trying to share what I learn with as many people as possible. So, most often I'm not blazing a trail here. Don't think it matters which direction you spin it. I think when the anvil gets just about down to the link, probably it. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Just a touch of lubrication. You don't really need much, but again, those are fine. Do they move? Yeah, they move. Not too much play. That'll be nice and strong. Not the same without the smash fingers. Yeah. Wrong garage? I don't know. Steve and Matt, I have a brand new Welva and a new air filter on its way from eBay. Well, the air filter is easy to test. If you think it's the filter, take the filter off and run it. You don't want to run it for long without the filter, and you try to want to make sure the air is clean and everything else, but if you think it's the filter, pull the filter off. If it runs perfect, then you have a good idea. It's the filter. Really can't say that's happened to me any times. But brand of chain. Craig, this is the Raisman 404. The same stuff that was that's on HL Supply for a deal. It's like $150 for the roll. It's really cheap. And I'm going to use it for milling when I do chainsaw milling. Yeah, it's the HL Supply stuff. That's 3. Really wasn't planning on doing all of them hanging out with you guys, but boy's got to go take a shower. Okay. In the cold, yeah. So with the carburetor, okay. Marshall, I hope you get that figured. I really do. It's just god awful frustrating. Sometimes. It really is, and I'm not immune to it. I've been real frustrated with sauce. I had one with 2 bad ignition coils until I tried the third, was it the third, on the third coil. It finally ran. But diagnosing a bad coil is really hard. Again, a little bit of oil. Is my elbow in the way again? Right on. Yeah, the aluminum throttle brackets are nice. The plastic do warp. I can't imagine that that's actually the issue, but the metal ones are pretty nice. You know what? Here. How about from this side? So when you spin this, it doesn't really go anywhere. Spin the other one down just a little bit more. It just turns instead of, it doesn't move front to back, rather. Do have a burr on this one. One more loop, ready to go. I'm going to divide it in half. Maybe fit it like that. Ooh, what if we fit the box like that? Do the halves. Oh, that's the secret. Cool. You know what I didn't do? I didn't bring you up here on my phone. Bring you up here. Here we go. 13 people here. Leah's reading the chat and typing for you. Now, if I could just get my wife to do that. Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here. Okay. So, let's do the next one. Why not? Marshall, one of these days you're going to replace every single part on that chainsaw, and you'll finally figure out what it is. Because I've done that. Been there, done that, you know. have like a tiny little clamp for this. Just stick over there and then have it. Nice and easy, tighten. And the turning just kind of evens out the rivet. Just mushes it down, mushrooms it down. Check and make sure the link's loose, which it is. Again, using anvil A, and this part A, according to the Oregon manual there. So it says A on the back side here. There's also a B anvil and whatnot too. It's in this bag here. Hey, Marshall, I've done it, buddy. I've gotten... Just start taking the parts off and swapping them out, and it gets real frustrating in a hurry. Just a tad more on this one. As long as you don't have a backwards chain or a loop in it, you're good. Let's figure this out again. Let's go halvesies, halvesies again, and then halvesies one more time. That might actually be enough to fit in the box. That's 5 done. That's a lot of chain, I'll tell you what. That's a lot of chain. I have a better spot to put these. Something else I gotta take out to the shed, you know. Winter's not over, about over. You got 3 saws to use. Okay, well. Still, I like, you like finalizing things. Who doesn't? Yeah, I do too, Steve. Fresh, brand new carb. They really can just make or break you. That, I don't know if you guys remember, I had a 181 here on the bench. I spent an awful lot of time at it. Still couldn't get it to run right. Kitted the carb, everything. And that's when I called Bob. I'm like, look, I need a suggestion here. He's like, yeah, new carbs do wonders. it's running funny. It seems like it's an air leak, but it's not. He's like, yeah, new carbs do wonders. Okay. Well, if you're getting the aftermarket carbs, and they're pretty inexpensive, yeah. But the aftermarket 372 carburetors are really hit or miss. I've just not had great luck with the aftermarket 372 carburetors. Some of them run fine. But right now I'm buying OEM 372 carburetors. That one's good. I'll finish this one off here. Not too tight. Just got stuck. Okay. Again, no loop in it. Nothing's backwards. We'll go halvesies. And then halvesies again. One more time. Do the smooshy thing. That should actually fit in the box. Yeah, the 372s can be tough to get to idle. You know, I tend to think it's all about like having a fresh carb on it, and that gets to be a really expensive proposition after a while. But a lot of issues come down to just having a fresh carb, because the carburetors get clogged easily. The 372 carburetors, in my experience, do not tend to kit well. I've kitted plenty of them. It's pretty rare I get one to run just right with a kit. Most of the time I have to end up throwing a brand new carburetor at it. It's not running lean? Yeah, if the piston's good, then you can probably, I think, reasonably assume that the seals are good, which means that you don't have an air leak. Hey, Tim. New OEM coils make a world of difference too. And figuring out if it's a coil or a carburetor issue has always been a sticking point for me. I don't honestly know if I'm ultimately going to come up with some type of formula that figures it out. It's more of a feeling than anything. Yeah, OEM carburetor and OEM ignition coils too. Yeah, it's fine. The 394 carburetors tend to kit well. I think because they're bigger, they're less likely to clog. Man, we are getting through it here. You know, I've used the ohm meters, and it doesn't come up with anything relevant. At least I don't think so. If you had a dead short, it might show it, but if it has a dead short, you have other issues. Good. .42 today in Cincinnati. It's sunny. Yeah, it was pretty sunny and nice here today. A little cold. A bit cold. I wasn't outside though. I was working. At least most of the day. Boom. Best pack yet. That one I can actually close. There's the best pack yet. Check that out. Have a good night. Let me take this. Thanks very much for hanging out. I do appreciate it. I know we're just spinning chain here. It's really nothing too terribly exciting, but it's really pretty cool to see that there's a bunch of people hanging out. It also means that, if there's a bunch of people hanging out, you all aren't necessarily here for me. Which, by the way, is just fine. Totally fine. This has been I think today's Friday, yeah. This has become just like a really an interesting hangout for a lot of people, and I think that's really cool. It's kind of like a moving forum, I think it's nifty, really. Good. On to the next. Looked down, I thought I had a loop in the chain. I do not. Just a shade more. where that's coming from. That's fine though. Okay. Get the box out. Got my vision back. Leah says good night. Night, Leah. Night, James. No, James is staying. Leah's going. Oh, okay. Moving to Ditch Divers, a great channel, learned a ton. Other members, okay, I'm out. Ditch Divers on my YouTube. My name is Wood. Wood. We'll see you later. Have a good night. Scott. Scott from Johnstown, PA. Welcome. What's going on in Johnstown, PA? I don't think I've ever heard of Johnstown. Welcome to a live stream. Just so you know, we encourage questions and heckling and all that fun stuff. If I don't know the answer to something, which is pretty common, a lot of the guys here know a lot of good stuff. So you're welcome to come in and hang out. Fingers type show you. Didn't even mark this one. Let's go back. Johnstown, PA is Flood City. It's about half an hour east of, about an hour and a half east of Pittsburgh. Okay. Well, welcome. All I'm doing tonight is playing with some chain. I haven't done a whole lot of spinning for chain. So this is kind of partially practice, partially figuring out how to do it. And take the opportunity to, you know, if I'm doing something, to also hang out with you guys. And for me, that's a kick. Bad floods. Okay. I remember driving out to Pittsburgh one day. I was going to go visit my brother, who happened to be out there. Driving out to Pittsburgh, and I had my Nissan Maxima, and I couldn't get it over 60 miles an hour because there was so much water on the road. It wouldn't do it. I think that thing would do it like 140 miles an hour, but in that much water, I couldn't get it over like 60 miles an hour. It was crazy. Just end up sideways, you know. There's a lot of water out that way, so I believe you. Oh man, I got these things in boxes now. This is cool. Next. 1, 2, 3. I only have 4 more to do. So that's literally it. So yeah, I don't know, Scott. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not doing a whole lot of the bolt for bolt videos anymore. And it was because I I hate editing. Ugh. So, discovered doing live streams, and we now effectively have kind of like an online forum where you can come and hang out. And again, flipped. You can come and hang out and all that stuff. Talk, chat, just listen. You know, whatever. We mainly talk about saws. Sometimes we end up talking about women, but try to stay away from that topic because sometimes my wife is watching, sometimes my father-in-law is watching, you know. Pretty good. Pretty sure we do all BS here, Steve. Hey, DeHamby, does anybody here use 404 chain? I don't usually. I'm getting this because it's pretty cheap. I'm going to use it for chainsaw milling, which again, if anybody's thinking about chainsaw milling, you have to have your head checked because some guys think it's a lot of fun. Personally, I think it's crazy because it's a lot of work. It's an absolutely astronomical amount of work. I think it has its place, but I'll tell you, I love my bandsaw mill. If you're making dimensional lumber, it just doesn't pay to be doing it with a chainsaw, I don't think. So yeah, for the most part, unless you're running, you know, if you're professionally logging, then maybe you want to use 404, but I just don't see the point otherwise. You need a really big saw. Halvesies. Fold over. Oh, I forgot to. It's better to use narrow kerf chain to mill. Maybe. You know, William Prophet does a lot of chainsaw milling, so he's much better to talk on that topic than I am. Of, you know, what's ideal and what's not. I'm going to try this and see how it goes. Marshall, not true. Marshall, not true. So if you're going to do chainsaw milling, here's the thing. By the time you get set up doing chainsaw milling, you're going to be out a significant outlay of cash. Okay? The proper saw, chains, gas, cursing, etc. Come on. So you're out lots of money if you're going to be chainsaw milling. Then what happens is time is also a factor. So the amount of time that you spend chainsaw milling, if you're making dimensional lumber, if you're slabbing, it's different, okay? But if you're making dimensional lumber, the amount of time that you're going to spend doing that is crazy. So when you start actually adding it up, for some people, getting a bandsaw is probably cheaper. when you start doing the chains, all that stuff, getting a bandsaw mill is cheaper, especially when you can get into one for under $3,000. So if you want, like, if you really want to do chainsaw milling, you need a 395 or a 3120. Those are not cheap. 3120s are like $1,000 plus if you can find them. Right, then you just keep going to Lowe's. Again, not necessarily the best proposition. So I think the affordability of bandsaw mills is really right there with chainsaw mills, and after you've had it for a little bit of time, you'll just get it, you know. Gimbal Cody 660 from China. Well, again, get a bandsaw mill, and then you don't need to mix gas. No mixing gas. No aggravation with starting. Don't have to worry about the thing blowing up on you. Right, and also speaking to the horsepower, so if, let's say, your kerf is 3/8 of an inch, maybe closer to 1/2 inch with a chainsaw, your kerf with a bandsaw mill is more like 1/8 of an inch. It's like 1/3. So you've just basically increased your horsepower by a factor of 3. So a 9 horsepower band mill is like a 27 horsepower chainsaw. The math is crazy on that. It's literally 3 times as fast. Right, 3120 is really expensive. Back to that one. So if you're doing slabbing, I understand. You know, if I'm just going out and quartering something, which I do tend to do, then chainsaw milling is probably where it's at. But for dimensional lumber, a band mill you can get in for under $3,000, and frankly have a much better time. The bandsaw blades are cheaper than chains. There we go. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the hang of it. I've got 2 left. Actually, the boxes pop nice. Just pop it open and it's already ready to go. The next get together is April 18th at Dan's in Norwich. You can go on opeforum.com and pull that up. Chainsaws are designed for cross cuts, not ripping cuts. I'd say chainsaws are designed for cutting, but overall, it has to do with the kerf. The motor, chainsaws are designed to be portable. Bandsaws are not necessarily designed to be portable. You know, a handheld bandsaw mill, come on, right? But a chainsaw certainly is a portable thing. Two more. Here we go. Finish these up and then I can go to bed. You guys can go to bed too. 12 people hanging out. I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is fun. No loop in it. Hey Pat, you made it. Wonderful. I've moved on from breaking chain to now spinning. Anybody going to bucket stock? I don't think so. Me getting out to bucket stock is exceptionally unlikely. I'd like to bring my crank tools out there. Set up a little table and bring the crank tools out. But I'd probably need so many of that. I don't know. I'd have to sell a bundle of them to make the whole thing worth it too, you know, at least financially worth it. Come back to that. Was okay. Do a little bit more in this one. Good. Last one coming up here. Was bringing the donuts. Krispy Kremes, yeah. I could probably swing it to go. I could probably swing it, but one of the troubles is me losing work. Like, me having a day off of work is bad. So, I already lost a week worth of work today to not feeling good mid-January. So that was bad. Losing work means losing income, etc. Last one. I can't imagine myself doing this much milling, by the way, but whatever. Mason's probably gonna want all these chains by the time we're done. Whatever. It's fine. I don't care. Yeah, I have not had a Krispy Kreme donut in a very long time. I don't usually have sensitive teeth, but I tell you what, put a Krispy Kreme donut there, and all my teeth light up. Good man, Craig. It's a little bit too loosey-goosey. Hang on. Good. Loose, but not too loosey. Perfect. Was it, what does Red Green say? Remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. I don't know if any of you guys know who Red Green is, but... Yep. Prayers sent, James. Now we've got... Wait a minute. Down here. Oh dear. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There. So I'd say we're doing pretty good. So, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I do appreciate it. It's time for me to go to bed. Questions, comments, anything else for me? Special thanks to Ken and James for moderating, and James isn't feeling particularly awesome these days, so we will send prayers out that way. What else? I think I'll call it tonight, guys. Thanks much for hanging out. Do appreciate it. Everybody be safe out there. Should be a nice weekend, so if I get outside, hopefully I can get some things done. So, everybody have a great night. Take care. Be safe.